Hop it, everybody. Another Tuesday of Health, Home, and Lifestyle. And with me is a very special guest, our Territorial veterinarian, Dr. Mariana Turner, who will be talking about what to do when you encounter a stray dog on the street. So, Doc, what are the do's and don'ts of when you see a stray dog on the street?
So the first thing you want to do when you come across a stray animal, stray dog on the street is you want to assess whether or not it's injured or needs like immediate assistance or anything like that. If it seems injured and it's not moving, definitely call animal control here at Department of Agriculture. Other than that, most dogs don't want to. Where am I trying to go with this?
Want to attack you? Or want to chase you, Doc? Something
Not
like that?
not necessarily. I mean,
Oh.
dogs are domesticated, and so they want to interact with people. But the question is, they don't necessarily trust people. So
Right, right.
and a lot of these stray dogs are used to people, feeding them or just giving them their scrap food or whatever, which not everybody wants to do that. So we actually want to discourage people from feeding strays because not everybody's going to feed them, and these dogs are used to it. So they're going to come up to people that don't necessarily want to interact with them. So you don't really want to feed them. If they're injured, let us know. If they're kind of minding their own business, then just leave them be. The more that you try and interact with them, the more chances there are that they're going to try and either defend themselves. And so we don't want to get anybody in the situation where they're going to get bit or attacked. One thing actually on the topic of getting bit is it's a really interesting thing to think about. When a dog is showing any signs of aggression, our automatic reaction is to kind of just run away.
Yeah.
But when we run away, we're actually triggering their prey drive. So that's when they're like, "Oh, I'm going to get you." And so it's much better to just slowly walk away from the situation, because most dogs will get to that point where they're just kind of, "I'm in your face because I don't want you near me," and then just slowly back away, because then they'll know, okay, you're going away, you're not threatening me, I don't need to threaten you. And then, if you feel like this is a kind of an aggressive animal, let animal control know. Be sure to give us much information about the description of the animal, where you saw it, so that the animal control officers can respond to that. Heaven forbid, if you do get bit, of course, seek medical attention, get it washed out real well, and then, of course, let us know as well.
So, Doc, back on the topic of, when you see us straight out, because most people love dogs, that is for sure, and they'd want to help, at least feed the dog just a little bit. So, is it really hard to avoid that? Just so, because I'm sure, like me, when I see a stray dog, it's barking at me, and I'm like, no, no,
Right.
I just want to be your friend and
Right.
feed it. Is that discouraged?
Yeah, you don't really want to feed the strays again, especially, if they're getting you. So let's say, for example, you're coming out of McDonald's and there's a dog there. Like, oh, what's one fry? Give it one fry on your way to your car. But then that becomes, now the dog's going to expect everyone that comes out is going to give one fry. And then you'll have people that aren't, or some people are afraid of dogs. And so they're going to be the ones that try to run away. They're going to get bit.
Big, right?
I know people will feed strays. The main thing is, if you are going to feed a stray dog, you don't want to do it in areas where it's populated by people. So, for example, like some of the tennis courts, feeding them there because you're eating your pizza, you give a piece of pizza to the dog that's there on the tennis court. That's going to encourage the dog to be in the area, poop where we play, and so the more that you can feed them, off closer into the jungle or in less populated areas, then they'll also be farther away, less likely to injure people, and then also farther away from the cars and the streets where they could potentially get hit. So if we are going to feed strays, we just need to keep in mind where we're at. Again, ideally no, because you don't know, this animal. If it's your first time seeing it, you don't know how it's going to react when you try to get closer to it. And so, again, I don't encourage feeding, especially because our animal control officers, if they do need to remove an animal, if it's getting fed, it's not going to be interested in the food that's in the trap.
Right.
And so that's a big issue that we come across as well, is that we have let's say a nuisance dog that is chasing the children trying to get to the school bus, but it won't go in our trap because it's like, I'm not going to wait for that canned food. This guy's going to give me Jamaican grill this afternoon. So,
Right.
So those are things to just keep in mind, and they're things that make it more difficult for animal control officers to get their job done.
All right. Well, those are just some of the do's and don'ts of what you do when you see a stray. Of course, most people have good hearts and would love to feed them, but as Dr. Turner said, it has to be at a good time and a good place. Thank you so much again, Dr. Turner. Don't go anywhere. More Health, Home, and Lifestyle when we return.